Evergreen Mills is a dilapidated factory in the southwest ruins of DC. While it's the largest raider stronghold in the Capital Wasteland, it seems that Bethesda's developers once had much grander plans. This is the mystery of Evergreen Mills. Inside Evergreen Mills Bazaar, there's a raider who has a generic name in-game, but internally she's called Madam. The official guide mentions that Madame runs the brothel inside the Evergreen Mills Bazaar, offering her girls services in exchange for caps or chems. She doesn't need ammunition because her friend Smiling Jack provides offensive help if a customer gets too rowdy. Madam is particularly proud of her interior decorating skills. She's then mentioned once again in the guide during Sam Warwick's biography. A friendly rival of Laszlo Redford's, Sam is a keen shot and a lone raider, ready to tag defenseless creatures and wandering mutations. But his big plan is a high-value target he can drop from safe distance and accrue enough caps to visit Madam over at Evergreen Mills. It's genuinely strange for a character who isn't even named in-game to have two separate entries about her in the guide. Further, several of the generically named raiders near her are internally named Whore Brothel, which is a weird thing to include considering none of this is clearly communicated to the player. Directly behind Madam is a door blocked by rubble. By clipping through it, we can see there's an entire out-of-bounds room here that was partially set up. Someone placed a desk and various props here, including a combat knife, cigarettes, and a glass, implying the player could once travel here. It's bizarre that the area designer who made this room blocked it off, but didn't delete this table setup. It's unknown what's going on here, but perhaps Madam once had an actual purpose, rather than simply being a common raider. There are also two very interesting creatures placed out of bounds in the bizarre interior, named Giant Ant Gladiator and Super Mutant Gladiator. Both of these are permanently disabled, but their gladiator names suggest they would have fought each other in combat, potentially in some kind of arena. Nearby, there's also two X markers called Ant Entrance and Super Mutant Entrance. Directly beside those markers, there's yet another cut X marker called Patron Wander, which is linked to an unused AI package, suggesting that raiders would have wandered around the area where these creatures fought, spectating their matches. This would tie in well when you consider that one of the location's main set pieces is a caged super mutant behemoth. Perhaps the original implication was that the creature was captured to fight in this cut arena as well. It's possible the Lone Wanderer could have even fought in this arena, akin to the Thorn in New Vegas. This entire idea is similar to the combat zone in Fallout 4, and I can't help but wonder if this cut idea was later recycled. Many other elements of Fallout 3 ended up finally appearing in 4, so it's definitely plausible. Though ironically, being able to fight in matches in the combat zone was eventually cut as well. It seems that Evergreen Mills was intended to be a settlement for evil players, similar to Paradise Falls, as there's an unused faction internally called Raider Friend Faction. The name of the faction is used for very evil players, and it makes Raider factions friendly to the player. The official guide even mentions that a ramification of having neutral or good karma is that raiders will always attack you. This alone implies that having very evil karma would have allowed access to Evergreen Mills, allowing the protagonist to buy and sell items, visit the brothel, and potentially even watch or fight in gladiatorial battles involving mutated creatures. A town for evil players would have given more weight to the game's karma system and could have been a great inclusion.
Shh, not too loud. I don't really want people to know that we're doing business. The rest of these guys around here might not want anything to do with you, but I got no problem with you. Well, not with your caps at least.
There's a merchant here named Smiling Jack, and his name is an homage to a character of the same name in the classic RPG Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which was worked on by several of Fallout 1 and 2's developers, including Tim Kaine. Despite killing all of his friends, Smiling Jack is strangely non-hostile and will trade with you. I suspect he's the last endgame remnant of the player being friendly with the raiders here, but that's simply speculation. There's 3 cut terminals meant for the location, but unfortunately these notes were never implemented or deleted. Intriguingly, there's also an unused terminal named Evergreen Secret Terminal. After choosing the menu option, "It's a secret to everyone," a note in the results script box reveals that the terminal would have rotated and revealed a secret door. What this door would have led to is a complete mystery though. There are 3 very interesting raiders found outside Evergreen Mills' exterior. Despite being called Raider in-game, they're internally named Raider Boss. Each one of them has a unique model that isn't used anywhere else, and higher stats than the other raiders found here. One of them even has neutral karma, though this might have been an oversight. There's also a cut sniper raider who has neutral karma too, and he would have appeared in the Wasteland as well. It's unclear if he was cut for the sake of performance or to make the area less difficult. In a previous video, I mentioned that Herald side quest Oasis took the place of an unknown cut side quest, and perhaps it was somehow related to Evergreen Mills. Unfortunately, all traces of the original MS-10 side quest were deleted, so we'll likely never know for sure, but it's interesting to consider a Raider side quest specifically for evil players. This theory is seemingly confirmed by a map made very early in development. In it, quest locations are marked by a beige color, and the Raider stronghold is notably tinted this way as well. Regardless, Evergreen Mills clearly had more going on early in development and was intended to be a much more interesting area than what we ended up getting. These changes would have made Fallout 3 into an even better game. Ultimately though, all of this was left on the cutting room floor.